Good evening, everyone. How's it going?
Hello.
Hello, doing all right.
All right. Well, I say we just play D&D. Um, you guys are making your way to the High Hall Cathedrals in El Terrell. You are outside of the walls, which are currently in a state of disrepair. The journey to Avernus has not been kind to most of the city, and the outer gates have been blasted open. As you approached, you ran into a dragonborn with his minotaur servant inside of a cathedral that still held some survivors. The dragonborn was tearing the souls from the inhabitants of the chapel. You crossed one of the two bridges that connect the eastern and western portions of the city, and upon attempting to sort of stealthily pass a group of demons guarding the bridge, they spotted you as you were trying to flee past them, and in an attempt to hinder their progression and chasing you down, Crayley threw some of one of his magic beans out onto the bridge, and it sprouted a massive beanstalk that broke through the bridge, connecting to the landscape below the floating city, and extending high up into the sky as far as the eye could see. Dolos went ahead of the party, and he's found himself inside of the high halls before you all. Currently, you are in a battle with a small horde of undead that are now spilling out of a that's the wrong one. It's my token test map. Spilling out of a nearby domicile just outside of the High Hall Cathedral after fighting a pack of hellhounds that sniffed you out in the courtyards. We will just pick up here in combat. So, Dolos, I'll skip you for now. Mavathor, after this hellhound by the two of you has slain some recently dead citizens of El Terrell, recently deceased, spill out into the streets just as you all kill these two hounds, and it is still your turn.
Gotcha. All right. So Mavathor. Actually, hold on. Let me just check something real quick. I just want to make sure. It's, okay. Yes. Perfect. So Mavathor will move forward slightly towards this group of undead, and he will use his channel divinity to turn the undead. So all of the zombies need to make a DC 15 wisdom saving throw.
What happens to them if they fail?
Well, I know I know what the CR of zombies are. If they fail, they're destroyed because of destroy undead.
Okay, I'm going to group them into... I'm going to make 4 rolls for, like, groups of 3 instead of making 12 saves. So 3 of the 4 groups fail. What does that turn undead for Mavathor look like? What happens to the recently deceased citizens of El Terrell as you turn them, as they spill out onto the streets to try and add you to their little horde?
Well, he'll hold up his newfound shield that has the sigil of Asmodeus on it, and it lets out a radiant brilliance that blasts them and causes their unholy necrotic flesh to sizzle and disintegrate.
As they disintegrate and are consumed by heat and flame, radiant light, not but little piles of ash that scatter in the hot breeze that's blowing through the city currently. Their ashes blow away. 3 of the creatures remain. Anything else that you would like to do? I think your spiritual weapon is still available as well.
The spiritual weapon will move up and hit this zombie right here.
I'm glad that you guys were able to... I'm glad you were able to disintegrate most of these zombies.
Yeah.
I just so you guys know, I not everyone was in the Discord when I said this, but my Sunday game had a TPK this weekend, so I'm feeling nervous. And it wasn't like bad decisions or anything. They just got really unlucky on dice rolls, and they got straight up murdered.
12 to hit. I still have plus on.
12 is good enough.
Okay. It takes 7 force damage.
Do you want to remain where you're standing?
He'll move back a bit, and that'll be the end of his turn.
One of the zombies shambles towards you, and 2 shamble towards you. There, Krayley. The one that shambled towards you, there, Mavathor, with both of its arms slam into you. You take... they roll natural 20, and you take 11 bludgeoning damage as they just forcefully smash into you with both of their fists. And one of the zombies over by you, Krayley, as they come towards you, one of them swipes over you, and then the second one does a similar thing. Both of their fists just come and pound down onto your head and your shoulders, and you take 12 bludgeoning damages. They also rolled a natural 20.
Oh, nice.
Lulu swoops in from the guarding the little group of survivors off to the side. A little trail of golden sparkles kind of flies behind her as she goes and tries to tusk one of the zombies. She does a bit of radiant damage as her tusks sparkle as she stabs one of the creatures. And Sylvie, you're up. If I seem low energy tonight, I'm just a little burned out, so bear with me.
You're good. I guess I'll just shoot at the one, at number 1 with my short bow. Let me.
You hit it for 8 piercing damage. One of your
Oh, okay, cool.
arrows just sticks right out of its flesh.
And I'm just gonna sit here. I hope they don't come and attack me.
Mapplethor's right there, so you can get your sneak attack as well.
Oh, I can? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Alright.
Nice. 15 total damage as one of your arrows strikes the zombie. Dolos, you're in the long hall, already in the high halls already. You're standing in the long hall of the foyer of the structure. Standing over Captain Lightheart's dead body. After taking a sword, the blade warps and the hilts twist into these wicked points, and you pick up his blade and feel this rush of power flow through you. What has changed about Dolos? Hold on, let me turn you up a little bit. I can't hear you at all.
Sorry. Am I better now?
A little bit. You're kind of soft. Maybe I'll turn the music down too.
Yeah, I have you at 200%. You're still pretty quiet.
Sorry, let me try and up this. I know my thing can be a little... Okay, how about now? Is that
Better. Yep. Better. Yep.
Okay, great. But yeah, no. As of right now, nothing outwardly looks different about Dolos. As far as his appearance goes, I think you see some like crackling, like black and white, so like sparks at his hands, and as far as his sword, but nothing. Do you want me to be mechanic about it? Is that what you're asking?
No, not necessarily. I was just
Okay.
if you wanted to, input anything about any obvious changes Delos might have gone through.
Yeah, not right now. He does take off his mask though, and
You
the same.
you look down at Captain Lightheart's body, and Captain Lightheart, as long as you've known him, has been a light traveler. You do know that he has deep pockets in his simple burlap pants. But other than his weapon, the only visible things that you can see on his body are his necklace depicting a golden symbol of a half-risen sun dedicated to the Morning Lord, and he has also a silver ring on one of his fingers.
I don't think Dolos would take either of them. He killed him. He doesn't need to defile his body anymore.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, what do you do with his body? Do you just leave it there?
No, he would sort of like, okay, he would just sort of set it upright, like just have like the body without the head, like sit up on top of the statue and just have the head like right next to it. Maybe like an odd way.
Why don't you make a perception check for me?
Okay. Yeah, he's not really trying to hide that he's dead. It's, you know.
While you were engaged with Captain Lightheart, and the two of you were talking, off back in the courtyard, which you passed through earlier, you heard the barking of the two hellhounds that you bypassed out there briefly. It sounded like maybe they were chasing something down. Further inside the high halls, now that you're alone again, it's quiet and still. But you kind of peek further in, and you can see that the high halls have already been defiled, swept through by devils, most likely. You can see littered on the ground are the bodies of commoners, fighters here and there, armored guardsmen, and the bodies of various types of devils as well. As though, a significant battle took place here in the High Halls just after the transition from El Terrell to Avernus. What would you like to do?
Well, first off, Ulder isn't in here, correct?
It does not appear that Ulder and Captain Lightheart were together, no.
Okay. Then I think Dolo sheathed his sword and worrying more about his friends would just go outside towards the courtyard.
Okay. You step out into the courtyard again, and you can see across the 400 feet or so to the gates. Just outside of the gates, you can see Mavathor, Krayley, and Sophie. Or Sylvie, sorry. Sophie is the name of one of my girlfriend's two dogs. Sylvia fighting with a couple of zombies. The corpses of a couple of hellhounds lay at the gates of the entrance to the courtyard of the High Halls. It's about 400 feet away for you for the moment, so you could start dashing that way if you'd like.
I think Dolos would cast Fly on himself and then start to just fly over as fast as he can.
Okay. So you can make it there in 3.5 rounds, basically. 20, 40, 60. Yeah, we'll just call it 3 rounds. So you go cast Fly and dash. Well, I guess the first round you only fly 60 feet because you can't dash yet, but you fly 60 feet. Mavathor.
Alright, he is going to use his spiritual weapon here to attack this zombie. For 6 force damage.
Okay. Your spiritual weapon hovers over and bonks the zombie on the back of the head. It crumples to the ground.
Okay. And then as his action, he's going to use Sacred Flame on zombie number 2. So DC 15 dex save.
And with a burst of radiance, it takes 11 damage. Okay, they're not vulnerable to radiant, so.
And yeah, that'll be end of his turn.
Krayley, you're up.
All right. Krayley's going to go ahead and jump 15 feet with Rabbit Hop without provoking opportunity of attack.
Okay.
10, 15 over here. And then just loose 2 arrows into number 3. Let me do that here. Oof.
Both of them hit, even when you roll a natural 1. Yeah. AC 8.
Oh wow.
Unarmored, undead. I don't even need to count that damage. It's enough.
Okay.
um,
That'll be my turn.
as you hop away, this one lumbers over towards you there, Mavathor, and they try and swipe at you, but they just bang up against your shield, and Sylvie, you're up.
I'm just gonna shoot another arrow at number 2.
I think all you need to do is hit it. There you go. The final one drops down. Lulu kind of hovers back over towards the small group of survivors that you have in tow, and you hear her say, guys, we can't keep running into stuff like this. We gotta get somewhere safe and get these people hidden away.
I agree with you, Lulu.
Avatar
Well-
will kind of narrow his eyes at her and say, do you have any suggestions of somewhere that's safe on the first plane of hell?
All right, I understand that my language was maybe hyperbolic, but safer than in the street. The cathedral looks empty. This chapel here is too. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah,
And,
let's
Scope it
get
out.
everyone inside.
Then a few moments later, Dolos zooms in.
Flies in with the wings that sort of look like Zariat's wings, just black and dark, and kind of like look at them made of ink and shadow in a way.
You fly.
Are you guys okay?
Are you-
Barely.
I
Not
have
really.
some healing potions. Let me hand them out. Please take them. And he'll give you guys 3 potions of minor healing. Just however you want to use that.
Thank you so much. Sylvie will gladly take one.
As will Mavathor.
Barely.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that. That's assuming the survivors are all okay.
They look kind of shaken up, but otherwise they look okay.
Are you okay, Dolos? We lost sight of you, and I'm glad you're back. We were just all worried.
Krayley, I think all of us have, I think all of you have something I need to show you. Important. Just come with me. And Dolos will lead them over to the high halls.
Sorry, I'm drawing a beanstalk.
It's all good. It's a beanstalk.
Has to look perfect.
You lead them over to the. You guys pass through the courtyard to the entrance of the High Hall cathedrals. There's a couple of devil corpses on the steps. You can see in the first long hallway Um, the single column that is still a depiction of Torm standing there in the center at the top of the stairs. But you can see that all of the rest of the columns along the hall have been warped into visages of Zariel, and propped up against the base of the statue of Torm, kind of leaning back up against it with its head placed at his side, is the body of Captain Lightheart. Decapitated Captain Lightheart.
I'm so sorry.
Fucking maker, like.
Did you see what happened?
Well, I can assume this is the work of Zariel and devils, but it wasn't until I came in that I saw his corpse. I went inside further and it's just more death.
Mavithar will narrow his eyes at Dolos.
I'm sorry you had to find him like this by yourself. This is not easy to stomach. Crayley
It's
doesn't
not.
really want to look at it.
But, he lived a good life. Fought to the very end. It seems.
Lulu floats over and kind of lands on all fours beside Captain Lightheart's body, and she says, I don't know why I feel so sad. I don't remember this person, but all I could feel from him when I met him back in Baldur's Gate is that he had a pure heart. And she uses her trunk and pulls off the necklace that he's wearing, and he flies over to you, Sylvie, and drops it in your hand, and Lulu says, we should keep this safe.
Don't worry, I will. And then I'll give her a huge hug and then try not to cry.
Does Dolos have Captain Lightheart's sword on him?
Yeah, but it would be very difficult to tell that it's Captain Lightheart's sword. You could make an insight check with maybe a DC.
I mean,
25.
He was there when he made the deal with Asmodeus, so I think he can kind of safely assume.
Yeah.
Oh.
Indolos also roll a deception.
Oh.
Well,
He'll
I mean,
the sword.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think because Mavithor was there, when this deal was offered to you, Dolos,
Oh yeah.
it would be hard for you to hide the circumstance to Mavathor, at least. The sword,
remember
the
that.
sword itself does look different. It looks different. It was a kind of beat up, simple looking long sword before. There's a image of it actually in the magic items. You can see what it looks like now. But the blade is kind of warped and the metal's, I don't know, it's kind of looks a bit withered and almost bent now. It's hard to tell if the sword has like been crunched down or something, but it looks like it's been dehydrated is the best word for it. It's hard to say.
That looks so cool, though.
Mavathor will he'll take a look. Are any of the guards missing their weapons?
In the hall here, there are no bodies of guards. It's further in past the doors here.
Oh, I thought you said we passed some bodies.
You pass some bodies of devils on the steps.
Oh, okay, never mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, then he'll eye up the sword and say, "That's a very interesting sword you have there, Dolos. Where did you get it?"
Oh, on the way here, there was this corpse with a trap of fire opening up to the chasm. I was lucky enough to dodge out of the way and get this sword along with this weird vial. Not sure what the liquid is, but thought it would be useful.
Yeah, why not? He'll insight check him.
Now can I roll deception?
Yeah, now you can roll deception. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he is almost telling the truth. It's just,
There's
you
just
know,
a
it's a lie.
lie in
A
there.
slight lie.
What's the vial of liquid? I don't remember that.
It was on the body. There was the silvered sword and a vial of liquid. That's all you told me.
I'll have to try and remember. I didn't describe the vial at all.
It might have been like a blue liquid, a clear liquid.
It might
I
just
don't
be.
remember.
It might just be
I would have to
it
look
might
at
just
it.
be a healing potion. But I don't remember. I'll have to go back and double check. But you both rolled a 14. So you're both kind of just, locked in a stare down.
Yeah.
Is everything okay, guys? I mean, other than what just happened.
Oh no, it's nothing. I just find it strange that Vorn's sword is missing, and I don't know. Taking weapons doesn't seem like a very high priority in the list of devils because they have their own weapons which are far superior.
I guess that is kind of weird.
I guess. But then you see all this death around you. I mean, maybe it got lost. I don't know.
Get knocked off, like, through a window or a balcony or something.
See the cracks lead down into Avernus itself, so maybe fell down there. Maybe Zariel took it as a trophy. I don't know.
No, Zariel's been busy fighting the demons.
That's right, we did see her in that, like, little pit fighting all the demons.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know.
Well, Dolus, you beat us here. Um,
Yeah.
We brought a group of survivors. Do you feel this current space could be strong enough to hold up some survivors, or
I mean,
like,
I think it's our best bet now. I can help move some of the corpses over in the main chamber. Maybe make a small space for the alive ones.
Well, you guys witnessed the meteor hit the back half of the high halls where some of the towers are, but just gauging from the size of the steps on this map here, the high hall cathedrals are quite a large building. Although from here at the top of the stairs at the entrance to the cathedrals, it is currently quiet. You do see that, there was a battle here, and who knows what could still be lurking around. I know that, the dungeon master knows that you guys aren't necessarily in particularly good shape. That doesn't mean that you can't run into a fight still, just because of the recent events of my other adventuring party. I would just encourage you to perhaps at least attempt to take a short rest somewhere before you go farther.
okay.
Oh yeah.
Just for your own personal well-being.
Yeah.
You guys have been gun-ho ever since you arrived in Avernus, which I appreciate. But, you have it's like you have a pair of doors in front of you, and it's like, you're entering into an Elden Ring boss fight with half of your health missing and
No potion.
no potions. Yes. And you're carrying 20,000 runes or whatever. You're just about to get enough to level up a new stat point,
Well, I saw some smaller churches over down the way. Maybe we can stay at one of those. I know that looks like a horde of undead came through one of them, but maybe we can barricade ourselves in and try and get some rest. I don't know.
I think we do need to gather our bearings, especially with all these survivors.
Lulu, here I can also do it from a role play perspective. Lulu floats over to the two doors beyond the statue of Torm, and they're sort of blackened and splintered, and her little light sort of kind of illuminating the damage to them, and she's lifts her trumpet, her trunk up, and gives a couple sniffs, and she says, kind of in a muted tone, I can still smell that something vile's lurking beyond these walls. We're not alone here.
Then we need to go and get ready.
Yes.
There are still two empty towers on the outer walls of the courtyard.
Okay.
Of course, there was the chapel that you guys ran into, the Dragonborn Inn. There are plenty of other possibly empty buildings in the city as well. The closest thing to your location currently would probably be either the chapel that you encountered, the Dragonborn Inn, and the Minotaur, or one of the three remaining see the towers on the map that are still remaining. One of the 3 remaining towers that appear to be empty, by all accounts.
Didn't Dolos go on one of them?
Yeah,
Isn't one
you
of them
dimension
they're
doored
empty?
into the nearest one where the party travel token is. So you guys could head up into that tower, and you'd have a good vantage point of the city, and you could at least try and squeeze a short rest in. I won't even make any random encounter rolls for a short rest. A long rest might be a different story. But you guys could certainly attempt to take a, not even attempt. You'll succeed on having a short rest in the tower if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm fine with a short rest. I'm still good on spells, so.
A long rest would be pretty great.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
Before
could talk about it, you know.
If you guys
Before-
want, well,
Fine with either or.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not barring you from a long rest either. You could do either. It's up to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to take a long rest, I could just take a short and keep watch. Sure, I'll be fine. It's back this long.
I do think with how difficult it was to get this part way through, I think a long rest, if we have the opportunity, would really help us.
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mabthor?
I think if we can get a long rest in, it'd be the best.
Yeah, let's do that then.
I think I have so you guys make your way back across the courtyard.
Could, before we go to the tower for our rest and all that, could Crayley uncomfortably go up to Lightheart's body and just place like a, what is it here? Just a Queen Anne seed at his feet and cause it to sprout with Druidcraft?
Yeah.
And just kind of, I just want to like, just verbally apologize to him under my breath, so to speak, that we weren't able to be there for him. And then that's it.
The little seed finds a bit of purchase in the cracked marble stone and sprouts at Lightheart's feet. Yeah, I suppose, even though, you didn't necessarily get to know Captain Lightheart that well, to you, Crayley, at least he did seem like he did care for the party, and at one time in his life he cared for your mother, and I think seeing him there headless at the foot of the statue of Torm, just seeing him alive such a short time ago, does add just a little bit of weight to the gravity of the situation you're all in. But the seed sprouts, and you head back to the tower with the others.
Okay.
You guys are going to attempt to take a long rest here, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is Dolos, are you saying you're going to rest, or you're going to be on watch the whole time, or are you guys going to take turns?
I mean, Dole was okay with only taking a short rest and then just being on watch for the rest of the time. Given that he only needs a short rest for a spell slot.
Oh, gotcha. Oh yeah, right. You're a warlock. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need a long. You need a long rest eventually, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
mechanically speaking, there's nothing. Because like after a certain amount of time, if you don't have like a race or a class ability that requires you to not need rest, and the party's taking long rests, you'll accumulate, levels of exhaustion.
Yeah, but simply put that, like, we're in a very dangerous situation.
Sure.
He's okay with only taking a short rest just to, like, maybe not have an encounter start.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you guys make your way into the tower. It's quiet and dark. You sort of ascend a roundabout staircase to the top level, and you can kind of see out over Avernus. You could step out onto the wall, and you can see, down into the courtyard as well. But you decide to take a long rest, so why don't you guys just let me know how you're gonna arrange, who rests first and second.
Rayleigh can watch first. Do first watch.
I think this is our first long rest in like a dangerous place. All of your guys' previous long rests have been normal,
Is that one time
What's
in
that
the
one time in the
sewer?
catacomb?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Sylvie will stay up with Krayley for the first watch.
Okay.
They'll go after them.
I guess that means Mavathor's last.
So Mavathor and Dolos, you begin your long rest. Sylvie and Krayley, the two of you stay up. It's as you guys drift off. It's the air here in Avernus is sulfuric and hot. You can hear the sounds of battle still raging below El Terrell. From up here in the tower, you can sort of see down into the chasm below, and you can see Zariel's forces, sort of portions of it neatly appointed in these large battle camps. as if they had been awaiting the arrival of El Terrell, prepared for it. And you guys can truly see the scope of Zariel's army from here. And you believe that they'd likely all be swarming through the city by now, if not for the throng of demons now spilling out from the river Styx that cuts through the landscape of Avernus, spilling out of the river Styx and clashing with the devils. And from the looks of it, it looks like the battle has no clear end in sight. The numbers of demons pouring out of the river are astounding, and but it's clear that Zariel and her forces are well disciplined, and although it looks chaotic, it is because the demonic forces are in essence the embodiment of chaos itself, and Zariel and her army are slaughtering demons, at a rate of dozens to one, maybe. And they just keep pouring out onto the battlefield. Every now and again you can capture a glimpse of Zariel swinging her large flail in one hand and a massive battle hammer in the other, just crushing through waves of demon spawn. So that's kind of what the two of you can see below you, below El Terrell, there, Sylvie and Crayley. You see Lulu kind of hovering there on the wall with the two of you, watching it all happen. And Lulu says, I don't know why, but the sight of the battle down there is sort of thrilling. I almost feel as though I should be in it. Be down there fighting.
Makes sense. You told us that you were once a friend of Zariel. Used to fight by her side. I know you have a hard time remembering. That's okay.
Well, even if that's true, that person down there's not the Zariel I knew. Even if I can't really remember.
Yeah. Seems like she really was different back then. From what I've heard, at least.
Well, ever since we got here, I've had this strange feeling like I still belong here, but it's like I can see my memories just at the edge of my vision, and every time I turn to look, it fades away. I don't know, it's hard to explain.
I, for one, am going to make sure that we do everything possible to get your memories back.
You see her, little eyes cross and look at the bow you tied in her hair. She says, well, one thing's for sure. You've already helped me remember to remember. I just wish I could remember a little more than that.
Well, at least you're remembering something.
And we
Well-
couldn't have gotten this far without you, Lulu.
Yeah, that's true too.
Well, I know one thing's true. Is that I was meant to protect people. I was meant to guide them. I just don't know what to anymore. Perhaps, with your help, I'll find what I've lost. And you will too, Sylvie. And she, looks out over the... she sort of takes her gaze away from the battle below and looks out over the city and out across the barren landscape of Avernus, and she says, I know your sister's out there. We'll find her together.
So,
We all will.
And we'll make that evil red dragon pay for his crimes, too. You shouldn't mess with souls like that. It's not right.
what are they keeping them for? Is this all to do with Zariel's whole thing with getting more souls for fighting the war? Is that what he's doing?
Maybe. They were wandering this battlefield with... It didn't seem like any fear in their eye. I don't know.
Lulu says, even though my memory's not very good, there's another thing I know for sure, and that's evil. And that guy was evil. But I don't think that he was a part of Zariel's army.
Do you think that?
I don't know. It's almost like there were two parts to him. Like he was almost split in two. There was the living part, the part that had feelings and a conscience, and there was something about him that was dead and rotting. It's felt to me like he didn't have control of the dead part, like he was at odds with it. I think that's what he wants the souls for.
Make himself whole?
Maybe. But Zariel needs souls to fight our war. That's true too. I can't see many people volunteering for this kind of work.
Not intentionally, at least. Tough. And there hasn't been like any fighting in the immediate vicinity, anything like that.
Well, there hasn't been any fighting. But, you guys do hear, you guys do hear some sound, down below after a bit of chatting. You hear, some growling, and then you see coming around the corner, sort of from the far side of the courtyard, you hear like a scraping sound, like something metal is dragging on the stone of the courtyard, and you hear the growling sound, which is kind of familiar. It sounds like maybe the growls of a hellhound, and coming around the corner, kind of off by where the meteor landed, on the far side of the high halls itself, you see this odd-looking figure emerge, wearing a suit of sort of golden armor, covering most of its body. From up in the tower, it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like some of its arm flesh is exposed, and you can see it has these powerful, long arms of gray flesh, and it has this long halberd, the handle of which is sort of dragging on the ground a bit. So it's longer than the creature's body itself. Its neck is sort of craned down low, almost hanging below its shoulder blades, and it has like a strange golden mask on. It's hard to tell from this distance, but it almost looks like infantile, like the face of like maybe a cherub or something. On either side of it, there are a couple of emaciated-looking hellhounds, and they sort of lumber out into the courtyard. You see its head kind of craned down, and you can see it looking around. The hounds have their noses to the ground, and they're kind of sniffing. They move across the courtyard, and the hounds are kind of sniffing back and forth along the lines of where you'd all been walking.
Is there a building somewhere maybe in this direction that maybe still has like a full window that hasn't been broken or anything like that?
No windows nearby, no.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Anything like, I guess I'm just scanning for anything that I could hit with an arrow to make noise. Ultimately, like something metal, maybe a barrel that's...
Well, it would make noise even if you just shot the stone or something, you know?
Okay.
The head of your arrow
I mean,
will make noise almost on anything.
Okay. I'm just going to kind of aim that general direction to try to make some noise.
Oh, on the outer side of the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you spot some windows out on the outer side of the wall that you could shoot at.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to aim for one that I am hoping will be within earshot of them to draw their attention away.
Yeah, I'm just making an attack roll.
Okay, sounds good. Make sure don't have that anymore. Good. And
You kind of crouch down and go around the other side of the tower, and where you can kind of see the down into some of the homes, and actually kind of the cathedral nearby where you guys had ran into the Dragonborn. There are some large stained glass windows, and you shoot an arrow through a large center window just at the entrance of the cathedral above the archway, and it shatters, and the two hounds go running off in that direction, and the creature sort of shuffles along behind them, not really increasing its pace. It sort of continues to slowly move off in the direction of the noise, its neck still kind of craned down and every so often turning and scanning around. You see the hounds bump into the pile of ashes and zombies and the other two hounds that you slain, and they start to chew on some of the dead bodies of the slain humanoids that were not, well, undead previous humanoids that were not turned to ash by Mavathor. They kind of chew on some of their flesh, and the creature finally makes his way out, and he kind of lumbers up the steps of the cathedral and peers inside, his body kind of shifting back and forth, looking for the source of the sound. You can hear it's like metal boots shuffle over the broken stained glass, and it kind of crunches under his feet as he kind of takes a few steps into the church, and when he doesn't see anything, he turns back around and lumbers down the steps, and he kind of pokes one of the hounds that's chewing on a dead body, and it kind of whimpers as he stabs at it, and he kicks the other one, and they go kind of like back towards the courtyard, and they slowly go across the grounds. The two hounds are still kind of like sniffing down at the ground, and one of them kind of stops, but he kicks it in the butt again, and it gives a little yelp, and then hounds make their way up the steps of the high halls and disappear into the foyer. I guess you guys can see, like, from the tower up to the top of the steps, and then there's kind of a shadow that covers over the entrance, and then you can hear the hellhounds again. They start making some noise, and you can only assume that they're chewing up Captain Lightheart's remains.
Ooh, okay.
Sylvie. Do you think they're gonna come up here?
That's very likely. Should we wake up the others?
I think we have to.
Okay.
And I'll go.
Well, they didn't. They went the other direction.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they disappeared. They disappeared into the high hall. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was.
No, I did. I thought that too.
Okay.
Yeah, Captain Lightheart's not in the tower with you guys. He's still at the top of the steps and
Okay.
over by the high hall. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So they ascended the steps and they made their way into the high halls. You could hear the hellhounds tearing apart the remains of Lightheart's body, and then you hear the sound of the metal armor of the creature, and the hounds kind of drift away into the high halls, deeper into the high halls. After some time passes, you feel like it's time to rouse one of your companions for the next shift of resting, or of watch, and so you guys can get your turn for the long rest. I can't remember who was next, but
Go.
Dolos, yeah. So you guys get Dolos up. You could tell him about the creature you saw if you want to.
Yeah.
I think we definitely relay that information to him.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'll be careful. It's a mess, guys.
Well, sure.
Thank you.
On your watch, Dolos, is there anything you would like to do?
Really, he just sort of keeps watch as best. So maybe take a better look at the sword, his sword, and just, I don't know, just take a look at it really. But his main focus is keeping watch. I'm sure he also thinks about Mavador and thinking about how he might be catching on, but I don't think he worries too much about it, given that he looks Spasmodeus. I don't think he would let out his secret so easily. But just don't.
Why don't you make a perception check, just for your general watch. Ooh, nat 20.
Was not expecting that.
You you take a peek out into the courtyard, and you're keeping an eye out for the creature and the hellhounds that Sylvie and Crayley told you about. You peer over the wall down in there, and you don't really see any sign of movement, and you turn and you look over the east side of the wall, and you can see and hear the battle raging below the city. Every so often, the companion hovering above El Terrell, this dark orb, sending out periodically these arcing jolts of blue-black electricity that will strike the city in random places now and again. Every so often there are these trembles. The city will shiver almost all at once. The stonework of the walls vibrate, the tower a little bit whenever this happens, and for all of you, it's a fitful rest at best. With your natural 20 perception check there, Dolos, whenever one of those shudders happens, the chains that are anchoring El Terrell kind of briefly grow taut, and they shake and jingle and grind against each other, and you could swear that it actually seems as though El Terrell is slowly falling, drifting downwards towards the landscape of Avernus below.
Mm.
And as you're kind of gazing out, you move over to the other side of the tower and look out the northern wall, and you can kind of see the the beanstalk growing up into the sky, and you kind of follow the girthy green plant that's reaching up into the darkness of the sky above, and you didn't catch a glimpse of this because you were away from the party, but you see a little, it's hard to make out, but then you notice that like something is moving up the beanstalk, and you see this man in green and brown leathers. He almost blends in with the surface of the beanstalk itself. It's hard to make him out sometimes, but you see this little man just deftly ascending the beanstalk, just climbing higher and higher.
Very confused look on his face.
Purposeful,
mental note.
yeah.
Have it later.
Purposefully climbing, dutifully climbing. Climbing with a fervor, like his life depended on it. But it doesn't appear that anything's chasing him or anything. It's just a desperate climb. But eventually, some time passes, and you feel as though enough time has passed for Mavathor to be fully rested. And there's still a bit of time left to cover on the watch for you to get a full rest yourself. So you rouse Mavathor.
And I think before Dolos has to sleep, he looks at Mavathor and says, "Remember who you work for, okay? On the same side here."
Oh, I know who I work for. Believe me, I know.
We don't need things being exposed too soon.
Oh, I suppose not. But sometimes we don't have a choice in the matter now, do we?
But you do. I think it'd be very good for you to listen. So, hope the watch goes well.
Evil tension. Is there anything that Mavathor would like to do during his portion of the watch?
He'll mostly just stand out and feel the waves of wind rush by him, and
Yeah, this is all probably actually under different circumstances. maybe a little enjoy. Like this is a kind of a beach vacation for Malthor. He's in Cancun right now. Need a margarita or something, you know.
Yeah, like the hot acidic air go by him and under his wings.
You take a bit of time, let your wings out, and catch some of that first layer of hell wind. You can see the even though she does, even from here, you can tell. I don't know how Mavathor would feel about it. But you can tell that Zariel does from below you. You can see her fighting. She towers above most of the other devils and demons below, and she does have this grace to her. She flows through the battle like it's what she was born to do. There's a grace and elegance to the way that she fights, that sometimes will turn to just pure ferocity and rage, but then she'll kind of flow back into this graceful state. Her weapons cleaving through rushing demon spawn, and in the midst of the battle there is something admirable about the order of her forces and the way that they move in units, and you can tell that even in the midst of the battle, as she's fighting, she's giving commands, and you spend some time listening, and you can tell that the sound of the horns will fall in tandem with movements on the battlefield below, and there is an order to it that is respectable, probably, to Mavathor. And there is something despicable about the chaos of the demon forces that sinks down to your core, rests in your belly like bile. This nature of good and evil, this perception that the mortals have about what it is. That what really governs the universe, the cosmos, the multiverse, whatever you want to call it, is order. And order is what Mavathor truly serves. And I don't know, maybe how does Mavathor feel about being here in Avernus and really seeing the tension between order and chaos, meeting kinetically down on the battlefield below you?
I think he always imagined what it was like, but he never really knew truly what this would be like, and he sees a lot of things, and he sees the stalwart land where order is, and crashing tides where chaos is, and there's a slight beauty in the balance of it, but he does more specifically focus in on the power and order.
As you watch the battle, the demon tide just seems as though it is endless, and it's not as though Zariel's forces below you are unlimited. it is a testament to the order of her forces, the order of the universe, that they stand as a wall against the tide of demons that's crashing against it currently. Maybe you feel a sense of, back on the material plane. I would imagine that proud, open followers of Asmodeus are not necessarily taken in gracefully wherever they go, and there is probably some sense of feeling justified here in your beliefs and in your followings of Asmodeus, as you see that truly, order is the only thing currently standing between the tides of chaos washing over everything and turning it to darkness and ripping it all apart. You guys managed to get a long rest in the tower here outside of the high halls, and we will take a quick little 5-minute intermission. So be right back.
Okie dokie.